We create jobs and make entrepreneurial dreams come true. ACE, a nonprofit community lender, specializes in small business loans coupled with business advisory services. ACE has loaned more than $39 million, helped over 725 business owners fulfill their dreams, and ACE has helped its clients create or retain more than 6,200 jobs. These are the stories of those businesses we've helped reach success and claim their American dream.
And welcome to ACE's Best Stories. I'm your host, Eric Holtzclaw, talking today with Julissa Vargas with DSD Distribution Services, LLC. Did I get your name right?
Yes.
Okay,
Perfect.
awesome. I walk around with Holtzclaw, so if I sometimes struggle on the others, but at least you don't have to say it multiple times, people remember it. So tell us a little bit about DSD Distribution Services. What do you guys do?
DSD, we distribute like Central American pre-packaged food,
Okay.
like cookies, drinks, beans, pastas, a lot of things, condiments. And we also do like warehouse stuff like pots and pans, forks, spoons, a little bit of Mexican art like the clay plates or mugs.
Oh, wow.
We do a lot.
Yeah, it's very diverse.
Yes.
Lots of things. And are you primarily selling to to retail stores or to?
We have a big change of store. We have 40 stores that we deliver right now. We have another second chain store that we do only 2 of them. And we had another one that we did 6 of them, but we stopped for now because we don't have the people like to supply, the demand, because it's really busy. So we didn't have the salesperson or the trucks, the driver.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
yeah.
So how did you get into this?
I got in this business. My brother got me into this business.
It's his fault.
It was his idea.
Okay.
Yeah, he had always worked, doing this. He was a broker for different products, again, Hispanic,
Okay.
South Central American, Mexico. And he always had the idea to do something, but he didn't have the support. So when we moved here from LA, my husband and I, we talked about it and we just did it.
You just did it.
Yes, because we got here August 2011 and we started the business September 30th.
Oh, wow.
So it was like really...
And is your brother here?
My brother is here.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. So you moved from LA to here. Your brother had always thought about doing this, and you were the behind the scenes team
Exactly.
who needed to get it started.
And he was doing everything else because he knew the people, he had the contacts.
Okay. And so before that, like, what were you doing prior to this?
Before that, I was working for a dairy company, Mexican dairy company here.
Okay.
But in my past, I did everything in Los Angeles. I worked like for 6 years doing weddings and quinceañeras, like banquet planner,
Okay.
a banquet coordinator. That was my job.
Okay. And so you came here, your brother had this idea of starting this business. You guys decide to
Partner. Kind of.
Did he already have, it sounds like do you have a warehouse and?
No.
You do not? Okay.
No, we started at his garage.
Okay.
Yes, we started packing. Actually, we started packing Mexican spices and peppers, dry peppers. And we were doing probably 9 stores, at the beginning. And only peppers, that's it. And then we started introducing more like, the idea was to do only like Central American products. But then the demand, we had to expand because then they were asking for African American products and the South, the pans and pots, and things came up. So now we are like multicultural items. But yeah, it's a challenge. It's hard, but yeah, we've been there 5 years already.
Oh, wow.
And growing.
And so are you in a warehouse or manufacturing plant today, or do you just know where things are and you just make sure the supplies get from one to the next?
Well, we have a warehouse now, and we try to organize everything by department. We have health and beauty too that we do. And once again, they're Mexican, like I have the Pantene, but not the USA Pantene. I get the Pantene from Mexico.
Okay.
And I have the Nivea from Mexico.
So
and
why would I want Pantene from Mexico versus from the U.S.?
Because people want their products. They're like nostalgic. They
Is
get
it different?
homesick. I don't see the difference, but people do. So,
Yeah.
because
Well, there was this whole like thing around like Coca-Cola. There was like a version that from Mexico that was different. It had a different.
And believe me, I have people asking me, do you have the Mexican Coca-Cola? Which I don't, because
Right.
I'm not supposed to do that. So I don't have.
Right.
Plus, I don't really have. The food is mostly Central American.
Okay.
The only things that I have Mexicans is the health and beauty and the cookware. That's all.
And so the stores or the retail outlets that you're working with, are they the ones that come to you and say, hey, do you have this product because our customers are asking for them? Or how do you end up knowing what you should go out and find?
Okay. It's not the stores. They're the brokers or of the specific product. For example, if the broker of this water, they come to me and they say, you know what, I know you work with this company, a change of stores, and we want to sell the water there. Can you help us?
Okay. And so you'll go to the store and say, I've got this new
and
product.
then, they give me samples. We show it to the store manager, and they decide from pricing and convenience to if they would do it.
Okay. So they got to sell you on the fact that they want to get it into these stores.
Exactly. Or sometimes it works the other way around. Let's say the water representative goes to the store, but the manager says, yeah, I'm interested, but talk to this distributor, and then we will start from there. So it works both ways.
So how do you know what products to bet on?
We don't know.
You
We
don't know.
learn as we go. Yes, because you don't know, we do a little research in the product, obviously, before we do something, but it is really hard.
Yeah.
Something that is selling in Mexico or Guatemala or might not sell over here.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, it
And
is
so
hard.
you put it in the store, see if it works, and if it doesn't, then
Exactly. And I think that's one of the hardest, to decide if the product is going to sell or not.
Yeah, I could see that would take a lot of, kind of forethought or gut instinct as to what may work or based on things you've done before. Yeah. So talk to me about getting into this, because it sounds like, you did some kind of, sounds like cross-functional work in other places, but then you got into this, and this is a whole business. So you've got all these things to take care of. What's been one of let's talk first about maybe something that's been more fun or exciting or interesting than you expected getting into this business?
More fun meeting people. Like being here. I never thought I was going to be talking to anybody like you. So but there's a lot of fun things in the business. I would always say, I'm being so lucky that whatever I do, I love to do. There's things that I don't really like to do, but I still do it. I take care of all the paperwork, the finances, I'm the one that is looking numbers if we can spend or invest, all that stuff. And that's what I love to do.
Yeah.
I do the bookkeeping too.
Yeah. Did you know that before you started this business, or is that something you've learned about yourself?
That's something that I learned, but also it comes from background experience. I have always worked for small companies, like own business, really small, like family-owned business. So I always say this, I learned from the best. For example, I can tell you the banquet coordinator position that I had for 6 years. The person that trained me, it was the owner. So they taught me how to type contracts and how to be specific so the customer is always happy of what they want. I did filing. I did talking to people. So I always say I learned from the best. I work in Chicago also it was another family-owned company, and I did paperwork too and customer service. So I think it's been through the years. Obviously, doing the paperwork and bookkeeping here is different, and I have learned a lot because it's not the same working for someone and having someone to back you up.
Right. someone to say
then
that's right or
you
wrong.
do it, you're gonna
Yeah.
have to take the decision how I do it, how it's gonna work best, or research.
Yeah.
You know, then Google. We have Google now. So
Google everything, right?
So if I don't know something, I just Google it.
Yeah, Google or YouTube it. So you watch a video on how
You're
it
right.
works. And so what I like about what you're talking about is many people will take a job and they just learn how to do the job. And it sounds like you wanted to understand more about why and some of the things behind it, which you're now being able to use later. So it was less about just doing the job. It was about learning kind of the mechanics of it too. Yeah. And so starting it out, you started off in your brother's garage. Mm-hmm. And then you grew into your first space. Like, talk to me about the...
I guess like we stayed in the garage less than a year, and then the demand of a bigger space. And it was funny because right behind my brother's house, there was this warehouse, and
wow.
It was empty. It was like abandoned. And I told him one day, that's our warehouse. And like 6 months later or 7, we moved into the warehouse. It was a really small, I think it was, I don't want to lie, but I think it was like 1,500 square feet.
Right.
And then there was another one that was attached. And then like another 6 months later, we took over the next one. And now last year, 2016, we moved to the front one, which is 10,000 square feet.
Wow. So you went from a garage, which is probably 150 square feet, to almost 10,000 square feet. That's a really great story.
I know. And it is, I wasn't expecting to grow. I wanted to grow, obviously, but I wasn't expecting to grow that fast.
Yeah.
It's like we moved from this small room to a big warehouse. And I don't want to move yet, but I'm thinking that we actually need a bigger warehouse. We barely fit in there.
Yeah. Yeah, because and you're receiving products all the time, then sending products back out, and you've got this whole kind of thing you got to do with it. Well, we talked a little bit about the challenges. So what I'm going to do is we're going to go to a commercial break, and when we come back, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about some of the things. I'm sorry, we talked about the things that were easy. When we come back, I want to talk about some of the challenges. So what did it take to get into those first spaces? Where did you guys run into some roadblocks, some unexpected things? So that's what we'll do next. Yeah.
We have a lot of those too.
I think everybody does, putting a business together. So we're talking with Julissa Vargas. She is with DSD Distribution Services, and you're listening to Ace's Best Stories. I'm your host, Eric Holtzclaw. We'll be back in just a minute.
If it wasn't for ACE, my business may have closed in 1 year.
If it wasn't for ACE, my business wouldn't be expanded as much as it's expanding right now. They were there for me at the time of my need.
If it wasn't for ACE, we would not be here today.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for ACE, I would very much still be cooking at an hourly rate, and I would have never impacted hundreds of lives and an entire community.
I still remember going to different kind of banks, big banks, and with papers, and these people send me back because I don't have, I had experience in the restaurant business, but I don't have, everything else this bank needed, and I believe in me.
I did the research in Adult Day. I had experienced it personally because my grandfather had Alzheimer's. So I wanted to do the business myself, get into it because I knew I could make a difference.
Initially, when we started, there was only one person, which would be me. And then the company I've grown from 1% to 8, and we provide quality assurance, quality control testing for FDA-regulated companies.
I think Grace not only completely understands what it's like to start off in an office connected to your laundry room or wherever she was, but she also understands the growth process, and I think that she does an excellent job of making sure that everybody who works with ACE has an understanding of the kind of struggles and celebrations that you can have.
ACE has helped us with putting our business idea into the market, working with us with the business, actually showing us, guiding me personally, how to solve some of my marketing issue problems or with the business planning.
You don't meet many lenders that are invested in your success. And, you know, from their classes or presentations, seminars, they really do have a vested interest in your success.
The best advice I can do to small business owners is follow your dreams, you know? Always follow your dreams, follow your heart.
Have a plan. Just because you have a passion for it doesn't mean that you can start a good business.
Get ready for the ride of your life. And definitely make sure that you look out for fantastic resources like ACE.
ACE is a way to go.
You're just the best. They really are.
And we're back. You're listening to ACE's Best Stories. I'm your host, Eric Holtzcon. We're talking with Julissa Vargas. She's with DSD Distribution Services, LLC. DSD takes products from, you can help me if I'm lying, it's from Central America, from Mexico, from all kinds of places,
Correct.
and bring them to retail outlets here in the U.S.
Exactly.
So
That's what
based
we do.
on that Pantene that you want that's from some another country. I could totally see me going to another country and wanting something that I feel like is different. So that's a kind of an interesting little niche that you guys are in. So we talked about, things that went better, some of the experiences that you've had in your past helped you to grow the business. Let's talk a little bit about challenges. So you've grown very quickly. I mean, if you go from 150 square foot garage to a 10,000 square foot space, what are some of the things that you've run into, things that you've had to overcome along the way?
Overcome, I would say it would be the financial side. When you are building a business and you don't have that capital to invest,
Yeah.
that's when you have to figure out where the money is going to come from.
Right.
For example, that was since the beginning. My husband and my brother, they started the business. They worked 7 months without pay.
Yeah.
So after that, we start, getting paid. And then when we grew up from being in a garage to move to a warehouse and then to supply 12 stores to 40 stores, then we needed a lot of money.
Right.
So I started applying for loans, looking, I went to different banks and I ended at ACE. I went to one bank and they sent me to another one, and from probably 4 or 5, I ended at ACE. And
why did the banks keep sending you from place to place? Because, I would think sometimes I'll talk with people who have businesses that are maybe service businesses or whatever, but you have a lot of fixed assets. You have, the stuff in your warehouse. You have some of those things.
Unfortunately, I have to tell you, when I started looking at banks, my personal credit, it wasn't as good as they wanted to be.
Okay.
And I built it. It took me not bad 3 months, because it wasn't bad, but it
Right.
wasn't the way they wanted.
Yeah.
So
Well, that's where ACE fills the gap. They help
exactly.
you get to that level. Right.
But then I was working with ACE when my credit built up, and then my bank wants me back now, but I was already dealing with ACE.
Yeah.
And because their service, they, how they take care of you, and they're like following up with you, how everything is going. So I went over there, and that's been the most challenging, the finances. Thank God, with their help, we could supply, the stores that we were supposed to do. Like I told you, we went from 12 stores, and we didn't go from 12 to 40, but we went from 12 to 15, and then 2 months later
Yeah,
another
right.
6, and
Well,
till
that
we
means
reach
more storage. It means more. Do you have trucks you use for
2
delivery?
trucks,
Yeah.
and then we need more products.
Yeah.
I would say that's the most important thing,
Right.
the product.
Right.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. And you buy the product and then you sell it so you have to pay for it to begin with. Yes. Is that
Yes,
the case?
and then
Yeah.
I have to wait 30 days so they can pay me.
Yeah.
So it was very challenging. It still is, but not as used to be.
Right.
It's money is flowing more better now, I would say. But
Yeah. And so another interesting thing that you've sort of touched on, excuse me, is that your husband and your brother are in the business. So what's it like to work with family? I may or may not have had a few experiences with that. So.
okay, it is challenging. It is very challenging because we are two couples. It's me, my husband, and my brother and the wife.
Oh, wow.
So
okay.
we are four different personalities.
Yes.
My sister-in-law and I, we are like 24/7 together. So it is some disagreements, but somehow we have to sort down everything, and talk about it, because it's been some heat. Thank God it's not a lot, but it's been like, oh, what do we do now? Or no, it's because you said, no, it's because things like that. And I always thank God that we have been able to sort that.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Well, it's an interesting mix because people talk about, well, you should never start a business with friends or family. Like you should just never do it. But on the other side, who's going to be more devoted to you than friends or family?
That's another thing. That's another thing, because something that we all have in common is that we are there when we need to be there.
Right.
I mean, if we have to stay there, like my husband and my brother get there like 4:30 in the morning. We get a little bit later. But then if we have to stay there from 4:30 in the morning to 8 p.m., we have to be there. And we have done it, believe me. There were weeks that we were like every week there from 4:30 to 7:38.
Yeah.
We will eat out every day, which was good. I didn't cook.
And so then another thing so then you have employees that work for the company, or is it?
Yes, we do have employees. And at this point, more than working with the family, I would say that's the biggest challenge that I have. I just haven't been able to find the right people. I mean, when you hire someone, you want someone that is going to be not only loyal to you, but they're going to be there on time. They're going to respect the schedule. They're going to be responsible 100%,
Right.
Once they get there, you're expecting them to 6-8 hours, whatever they're going to be there, to be devoted to what they're supposed to do.
Yeah.
And it's been so hard. It's been so hard. I think I have gone through 1, 2, 3, 4, like 5 or 6 drivers. And I mean, they come with all the desire and, oh, yes, we're going to work hard. I have all the experience. That's what I love to do. 2 or 3 days later, oh, no, it's not what I was expecting. I don't like the job. And they leave.
Yeah.
And then my brother has to take over. And that's putting myself like not down, because thank God it's always growing, but it's stopping from growing faster.
Yeah. It's an interesting pushing through. In an entrepreneurial world, that's that first 3 to 5 years, and you try to, you kind of get up the hill and you get pushed down a little bit and keep going up. So you just got to keep working it to try to kind of make that pinnacle point. So as you think about what you want to do, I mean, you say 10,000 square feet is what you're looking at, or you're in today?
No, that's what we're in
today. And you think you might need a bigger space?
Oh, yes.
Wow.
Actually, we definitely need it right now, but we're not gonna move till we use every corner of that warehouse, because we just moved there February 2016.
Oh, wow.
And also when you move, it's like new investment, because you have to put down payments for the new, and once you move, you spend more or invest it, if you want to see it this way.
Yeah.
Most of the time I see it as expense, not like an investment, but it is an investment,
Right.
because it's more comfortable to work when you have the space.
And do you mostly service the metro Atlanta area now, or
Yes.
okay? So what are other expansion plans do you guys have?
Well, my expansion plans is to go like to different states,
Right.
you know. I would like to start with Tennessee, Alabama, and then go from there, North Carolina. However, I don't see that in the next 2 years. I want to do it in the probably 3 years, 5 years from now, because I want to keep growing, but I want to learn the field first, you know,
Right.
because it is hard here as we do it now. I just don't want to jump in the water like I did it the first time.
Yeah, overextend
Because now
yourself.
that it's been 5 years, I can say it's still hard, but it's not as hard as it was at the beginning. And I don't want to do the same thing if I go out of state.
Yeah. And so talk to me about, with there being 4 different personalities, you decide to expand, you decide to do new things, you may look at other places. How do you guys make those decisions? Like, how do they come to be that you're going to do that? Because it's 4 different people, so that could be tough.
We get together like either my kitchen table or their kitchen table or at the warehouse. You know, one Friday or one day that all of us are there together, we discuss things like that.
But then and then is it like 3 of you have to make the decision, or is it 1 of you, or how?
No, all of us.
All of you.
We have to agree, all
Unanimous
of us.
vote, huh?
Yes. All of us.
And then you go to like the family get together, and you have to be nice if everybody didn't agree, right?
Well, we're always nice.
You're always nice.
Yeah. It's just the tough times that when it comes, you know, and it's like I always say, it's going to happen because we're always together.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes we don't get together because we see each other, you know.
It's like, I've already seen you this
yes,
week.
I don't want to see you today. You can stay in
That's my holiday.
Yeah, but
Right.
even like weekends we get together. Not as much because we spend a lot of time together already in the business. But I believe at this point, the business had brought us together too. But it also concerns me that in the future, it would separate us.
Yeah.
So that's what I say when I grow the business, or we grow the business, because it's not only me, it's the other 3. I want my brother to take care of the business and like give me a percentage. you
Yeah,
know, for
right.
doing nothing. No.
You want to be a silent owner.
Yes.
Well, that's a way it can happen. Owning doesn't mean you necessarily work in the business. So that is one way. And you and I were talking, you're working on some stuff kind of on the side too, right? You got a
Yes.
couple things that you're doing. So that's a great way to separate it out and get different people into different categories.
Exactly.
Well, very nice. Well, thank you so much for joining me today to tell me your story. It's been interesting. So if we wanted to find some of the products, what would be some of the stores that you have your products in?
Okay, the main chain is Food Depots.
Okay.
We work with all the Food Depots, and there's some in Norcross, Marietta. We have all the way south in Macomb, Warner Robins, Dublin. They're all over the place, and I think they're growing too. Well, actually, I don't think they are
They are growing.
and I'm happy because if they grow,
Then you grow. Yeah. Yeah.
Because they give me the opportunity, and we're there. And also, even though we don't have a lot of produce, we have some at what's the other one? Little Giant.
Okay.
And we want to bring some more. Why not? That's something that we need to discuss this end of the year.
Yeah.
That would be our like short term to get some new market
Very nice.
or
Well,
new products.
well, it's a great story. So I love the fact that you moved here and then 2 months later you were in business doing something. I've done a couple.
Me too.
Done a couple of those where it's like, oh, I might do something, and then 20 days later, I'm already in business doing it. So, anyways, we've been talking with Julissa Vargas with DSD Distribution Services LLC on Ace's Best Stories. Make sure you tune in next week for the next Ace Best Story. I am your host, Eric Holtzclaw.